This is Krzys with Bedford Media, and I'm here in Washington, D.C., participating in the NUCA Washington, D.C. Summit. And with me today is Representative Bill Pascrell.
Bernie, how you doing?
I'm doing just great.
Good to see you again.
And Representative Pascrell introduced in the House 2 days ago,
Correct.
H.R. 1802, which is a resolution regarding exempt facility bonds.
That's right. Jeff Davis is a co-sponsor with me. I'm the Democrat, he's the Republican. And we have similar legislation in the Senate, which I asked Bob Menendez to take, Senator Menendez of New Jersey, and then Senator Capo as well. So we have bipartisan support in each of the houses for this infrastructure legislation, which I think is going to be beneficial.
You know, it strikes me that this is such a no-brainer, but of course, a lot of things in Washington seem to be no-brainers until you start trying to get them passed.
That's correct. Well, we've passed this twice.
Yes, that's what I
in the 110th Congress. I got a nice vote on both of those, on the legislation each time, and the Senate tried to fit it in with one of their tax bills, and it never quite got there. We've been trying to work on this for 10 years. And it's had bipartisan support every time, because I made sure that that was the nucleus here. I think this is a great way for us to fix our infrastructure, our water infrastructure, our sewer infrastructure, which is falling apart. The government itself estimates that there's about $500 billion worth of work that has to be done. My legislation, this particular infrastructure legislation, which provides for private bonds, bonding to exceed the cap so that we can have this private bonding. This legislation will cost about $350 million, and that is for the loss of tax revenue because it's tax-exempt bonds.
Right.
So we had to find some federal money for that, but everything else is dependent upon private investment into the sewer systems and water systems. When you take, for instance, Bernie, that we're losing about 25% of our treated water.
Yes, we are.
Because of the repairs that need to be done, because of leaks throughout the system. That's pretty incredible. And people talk about waste throughout the federal government. This is waste throughout the United States in both local government and county governments and state governments. And if we don't correct that situation, it's not going to get any better, and it's going to cost more money. Every $1 billion that is invested into the water infrastructure system of this country creates over 28,000 jobs.
Yes.
And I think that's a pretty remarkable figure. So if we step back and let another generation go through this, we're only increasing the cost. And we have a tool, these private bonds are tools that we should be using. They're an advantage of getting us to the next plateau. This will bring $50 billion we've calculated in private investment. So it's certainly a drop in a bucket in terms of what we need, the $500 billion, but it's a pathway.
Yes.
It's a pathway to that goal.
And in this particular economic situation we're in right now, this is going to create so many jobs for the construction market when there are now like almost 20% unemployment in construction.
Well, when you take, for instance, if we're talking about $50 billion in private investment, tax exempt, then you're talking about over 1.5 million jobs.
That's right.
That's a lot of jobs.
That's why it seems like such a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, and we got to get construction folks back to work. They'll be working on meaningful projects. We're losing all of this wonderful resource, clean water, treated water.
Yes.
So this is a double win for us.
Well, I certainly like that. How do you feel about it this year, getting it passed through this Congress?
I felt enthusiastic about it every year. I felt optimistic about it every year. There needs to be more cooperation on the Senate side. I think we're at that point. I think Bob Menendez, once he puts his hands around something, he'll tend to run with it. And it's the same thing with Senator Capo. So I'm very optimistic. I don't think falsely so. I think it's real.
There seems to be more public interest in water than ever.
Yes,
In my business, we do a lot with water,
right.
with how we publish in journals and so forth regarding
Pretty
water.
basic,
It's
isn't
pretty
it?
basic.
Yeah.
There seems to be more willingness to even consider rate increases, which is surprising.
Well, if we have to continue to respond to the problems that exist in the system and provide clean water for our sons and daughters and our grandkids,
Yes.
then we have to take care of it. It doesn't heal itself.
No. No. When
You know?
when I see in some projects,
Not pipes, heal thyself. It's nothing
no,
like that.
nothing like that. Nothing like that. And when sometimes when you dig up pipes that have been in the ground, it's amazing what you see.
Oh, and of course, when you start digging, you know, not to get into the minutiae here, but once you start digging, then you find other problems.
Yes.
Or you create other problems.
Yes.
So we've got to try to get a handle on this. We don't have a handle on it now, Bernie.
No.
So I hope the legislation moves this year.
Well, thank you for taking your time.
I'm honored to be with you.
Thank you, Congressman.
Take
Thanks
care.
a bunch.
Bye-bye.